Well, howdy there, partner, and welcome y'all to some odd stick on the electronic prairie reviewing them newfangled role-playing games. Let's gay up. Boot Hill was released in 1975 by TSR and is the first Western role-playing game. And just for reference, Dungeons & Dragons was released in 1974 by TSR, so this is a very early game, and obviously I'm not doing the rest of the video in the cowboy voice because that would be annoying. But I will still have the gun. Players in Boot Hill take on the role of rootin' tootin' Old West gunfighters. So let's go ahead and roll up a mysterious stranger to roll on into town. Characters have 5 attributes: speed, gun accuracy, throwing accuracy, bravery, and strength. We roll percentile dice for each attribute and then adjust the value based on a table, which gives something of a weird distribution, to determine a percentile value for each attribute, which we then look up on a series of tables to get a rating for each attribute, and in the case of strength, a numerical value. And this character is done. And that's it, basically just enough to cover gunfighting and brawling. So I guess let's take a closer look at gunfighting. Let's say that as we're moseying on into town, we come across a no-good outlaw. Characters move in their turn order, no actual specification of what that order is, so let's assume it's an order of speed. Which means our character is up first, and he moves into position behind this barrel and fixes to start shooting. We determine who fires first by adding together modifiers for speed, weapon speed, surprise factor, movement, and wounds for each character, which we get from this chart. And looking at the totals, it looks like our character gets the first shot. So we must now determine our 2-hit values, which starts with a base of 50, to which a variety of modifiers are added, which we get from a different chart, for a total of 63. So we roll the dice, and hit. But where? To answer that question, we need the hit location chart. I swear this is the last chart. So we roll for the hit location, right shoulder, and severity, light. So the no-good outlaw takes a shot in the shoulder and loses 3 strength. But now it's his turn to shoot. So we calculate his 2-hit value, including a penalty for the wound he took, for a total of 70. However, being the desperate sort that he is, he opts to fire 2 shots, which lowers his 2-hit value to 60. He rolls the dice, a miss and a hit. So we roll the hit location and hit the right leg. Unfortunately, our character's right leg is behind this barrel, so it gets hit instead. That wasn't a joke, that's how cover works in this game. And now on to round 2, and because this is just an example, straight back to firing. So once again we determine who shoots first, notably this time both characters getting a large bonus for already having their guns drawn, and our character is up first again. Our 2-hit value remains unchanged, so we roll the dice, and a hit. So we hit him in the chest for a mortal wound. So yeah, he dead. And for not being dead, our character gets some bonuses to his attributes, which is enough to raise his gun accuracy and bravery up to the next level. And that is pretty much the extent of the game. There are, of course, similar rules for brawling and advanced gunfighting, and a handful of other things like horse and vehicle combat, explosives, and some minimal rules for gambling, but it is very much just the combat rules. Which brings me to what kind of thing this is, because the mechanics pretty much only cover combat, but it also suggests that you expand your character into a more well-defined entity, and also link your various gunfights together into an ongoing campaign. So it's kind of like a miniature tabletop game that's leaning towards role-playing game, but without ever crossing the line between the two, a line which admittedly is nebulous at best. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 for character creation, It makes characters that function within the system, and that is what character creation is for, but it also just kind of offhandedly suggests expanding your character beyond that without really providing anything to help you to do so. And a 2 out of 5 for mechanics. It does the shooty thing, it does it well. I do like the system for the first shots and 2-hit numbers and hit location. It adds a little more depth to just shooting at each other. But the big thing for me is it feels very much like they did the combat and then just called it a day, and they have this core system that could very easily support a more robust role-playing game experience, but they just didn't do that. This game does provide a moderate amount of content with a good selection of Old Westy type guns and Old Westy type characters and suggestions for setting up Old Westy type towns. Also campaign rules with an additional hex crawl system and full setups for running the gunfight at the OK Corral and the Battle of Coffeeville. So 2 out of 3 for content. It has all of the stuff you need to play the game and a little extra, but you know, nothing spectacular. Layout is fairly plain, but professional, with clearly marked sections, easily readable tables, and good page breaks throughout. Also, the kind of charmingly rough illustrations that you get in these really early TSR books. So a 3 out of 5 for presentation, not all that much to look at, but definitely gets the job done. And a 1.5 out of 3 for writing, overall well written, but somewhat minimally, and you do have to make a few assumptions. And there we have it. Boot Hill, a rootin' tootin' dice roll ootin' Wild West gaming experience. And honestly, it's fine for what it is, for its time, but honestly, if you were going to play it for anything other than historic reasons, you're better off going with the 2nd edition, which is similarly restricted in scope, but a bit deeper and much, much better put together. Alright, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit all the rootin' tootin' buttons, and if you would like more reviews, check out my blog where I have more reviews. And feel free to suggest other games for me to check out. Well, until next time.